Welcome back to the battle between Darth Vader and the Predator. A fight between Lord Darth Vader, the Dark Knight of the Galactic Empire, and the Predator, the apex hunter of the Yautja race, is one of the most terrifying imaginable. Even in their basic forms, both characters are the ultimate icons of fear in their respective universes. Darth Vader is the embodiment of oppression, absolute power, and the darkness that looms over millions of star systems. Meanwhile, the Predator is the nightmare of dense jungles, an invisible hunter who considers stalking the most dangerous creatures in the universe a religious rite and a reason for being. To find out who will be the last one standing, let's dive into the analysis. First, let's get started. First up is Lord Darth Vader. To understand the power of Darth Vader, we cannot simply look at his jet black armor or his signature rasping breath. We must look at the tragedy of the man Anakin Skywalker and the rise of a dark entity. Vader is a Sith Lord, a wielder of the dark side of the Force. The Force is not mere magic, it is a supernatural energy field that surrounds and connects every living being in the universe. Vader, with the innate potential of the Chosen One, even after his fall, possesses a connection to the Force at its most profound and intense level. The excruciating physical pain from the burns on Mustafar, combined with the hatred, anger, and loss within his soul, has turned him into a perfect conduit for the dark side, allowing him to tap into powers far beyond physical limits. Vader's most prominent and fearsome ability is the Force. Through the Force, Vader possesses telepathic abilities and telekinesis on a destructive scale. He can use his bare hand to crush an opponent's windpipe from dozens of meters away, lift rebel soldiers into the air and fling them into walls like rag dolls, or even halt and deflect the trajectory of volleys of laser fire heading towards him. Vader's willpower is so immense that he can manipulate the minds of the weak, torture them with horrifying visions, or break the will of the most resilient warriors with just a glance. The Force also grants Vader precognitive abilities in combat. He does not react to attacks with muscle speed, he sees the attack before it happens through the Force. This makes him virtually impervious to conventional physical or energy-based attacks. Vader's weapon and symbol of power is the lightsaber. Unlike ordinary plasma blades, Vader's lightsaber is a handcrafted weapon, housing a massive and extremely rare kyber crystal tuned to emit the brilliant crimson energy blade characteristic of the Sith. This blade can cut through almost any material in the universe, from warship blast doors made of super dense alloy to the thick hides of alien monsters. In combat, Vader employs Form V, a lightsaber combat style focused on brutal strength, heavy blows, and absolute riposte capability. This style requires no flair. It is designed to overwhelm, crush, and finish an opponent quickly. Vader can deflect dozens of plasma bolts simultaneously, turning the enemy's own weapons against them. Vader is a terrifying war machine. His body is a fusion of severely burned biological tissue and cybernetic system. His Sith armor is not just a suit, it is a mobile life support system, complete with an oxygen tank, air filtration, and a thermal regulation system, allowing him to survive in the vacuum of space on the deep seabed, or in toxic atmospheric zone. The outer armor is made of durasteel alloy and energy-resistant materials, enabling him to withstand massive explosions, heavy impacts, and even survive falls from thousands of meters. His physical strength, amplified by the Force and his mechanical systems, allows him to easily lift a full-grown adult with one hand, crush bones with a single grip, and endure attacks that would instantly kill an ordinary person. However, Vader is not without weaknesses, and these flaws lie in his very painful existence. The life support system is a double-edged sword. If the armor is destroyed or the air filtration system compromised, Vader will immediately fall into a state of debilitation and suffocation. Furthermore, because the majority of his body is machine, Vader is extremely vulnerable to electromagnetic attacks. Although Vader himself cannot project Force lightning, having lost the flesh and bone limbs necessary to conduct it during his apprenticeship under Emperor Palpatine, he is a victim of this very weapon. A powerful electric shock can short-circuit his mechanical systems, leaving him immobilized and in excruciating pain. In addition, his reliance on the dark side sometimes makes Vader blind with rage, although he has learned to control it far better than his master Palpatine. Now, let's move on to the Predator. The Yautja race are extraterrestrial creatures with a reptilian, humanoid morphology, standing around 7 to 8 feet tall, over 2 meters, with rippling muscles, rough, mottled skin capable of natural camouflage, and a distinctive head featuring 4 mandibles that can flare open to emit a terrifying roar. But what makes the predator a legend is not its appearance, but its culture and life philosophy. For the Yautja, hunting is not about food or territory. It is a religious rite, a measure of honor, and a purpose for living. They have no interest in conquering civilizations or accumulating wealth. They seek only the greatest warriors, the most dangerous enemies to claim as trophies. Predators are nature's perfect killing machines. Their physical strength far surpasses that of human. A full-grown predator can easily lift a 100 kilograms man with one hand, rip out a victim's spine through pure muscle power, or punch through concrete brick walls. Their agility is equally astonishing. Despite their massive size, they can move completely silently across thin branches, leap dozens of meters, and climb with the speed of a primate. The predator's sensory system is also superior. They can see in the thermal spectrum, allowing them to detect a prey's body heat through layers of camouflage. They can use X-ray vision to detect bone structure, and their hearing is so acute they can hear a prey's heartbeat accelerating from fear. But the real weaponry that makes predators the apex hunters is their technology. Their armor and weapons are a sophisticated fusion of biology and mechanics. Most notable is the optical camouflage technology. By bending light around their bodies, predators can become almost invisible to the naked eye. This vanishing act is not an illusion. It is pure physics, completely stripping enemies of their ability to locate them visually. On their heads, predators wear a biomask. This mask is not just a piece of protective gear, it is a mobile tactical computer system. It provides dozens of different vision modes: thermal, electromagnetic, X-ray, night vision, has the ability to auto-lock onto targets, translate the languages of thousands of alien races, and analyze the biological weak points of prey. The mask also integrates alert systems, ensuring the predator is never caught off guard. The weapons arsenal on the predator's wrist and shoulder is a true nightmare. The primary weapon is the shoulder-mounted plasma caster. This cannon is directly linked to the mask, allowing the predator to fire superheated, high-impact plasma bolts without having to aim visually. The automatic system locks the target and calculates the trajectory. Furthermore, on the predator's wrist is a multi-function gauntlet containing a myriad of tools. Retractable, razor-sharp wrist blades that can slice through steel, a spear gun, an energy net launcher to bind prey, and even a flamethrower to clear an area. And finally, most importantly, their wrist houses a nuclear self-destruct device. When mortally wounded or when a hunt has failed, a predator can activate this device, creating a miniaturized thermonuclear explosion powerful enough to level a patch of forest and obliterate everything within a radius of dozens of meters, ensuring that their technology never falls into enemy hands. In terms of tactics and psychology, predators are masters of patience and mental torture. They do not attack immediately. They stalk, study, and learn the hunting patterns of their prey. They use clicking sounds, the characteristic clicking of their mandibles, to cause confusion, leaving signs like the flesh-stripped skeletons of previous victims to sow fear. A predator only attacks when its prey is in a state of extreme panic, or when the prey proves itself a worthy opponent. If injured, instead of fleeing, adrenaline and survival instinct make the predator exponentially more dangerous, switching into a blooded berserker state and wielding melee weapons like the combi stick or the smart disc to face the enemy head-on. We have two entities that represent the pinnacle of fear in two different universes. On one side is Darth Vader, the Dark Lord, with supernatural power that can bend reality and impose his will upon all things. On the other is the Predator, the perfect hunter with cloaking technology, superior biology, and cold tactical thinking. To determine who will be the victor, let's begin with the most critical element in any hunt: stealth and perception. The predator relies entirely on optical camouflage technology and silent movement to overwhelm its prey. In the films, when facing humans, like Dutch in Predator 1987 or other monstrous species, this invisibility is an absolute advantage. However, Darth Vader is not human, and he does not see the world through ordinary biological eyes. Vader uses the Force to sense his surroundings. The Force allows him to feel the presence of all living beings, regardless of whether they are invisible or not. No matter how perfectly the Predator bends light, it is still a living creature, still has a heartbeat, still has warm blood flowing, and still has a presence in the Force. Vader will sense the Predator the very moment the hunter sets foot in the area. Moreover, Vader's combat precognition will render any sneaky attack from behind by the Predator meaningless. Vader will turn around and block the attack before the Predator can even pull the trigger. Stealth, the Ouch's greatest weapon, is completely useless against the omniscience of the dark side. The Predator possesses the Plasma Caster, a weapon with enough destructive power to blow the chest out of a muscular warrior or tear apart military vehicle. If Vader stood still and tried to use his lightsaber to deflect this plasma stream, he would be at risk. A lightsaber can deflect blaster bolts, which are plasma contained within a magnetic field. But the plasma from the Predator's cannon has an extremely high energy density and temperature. Continuous blocking could overload the blade or injure Vader. However, Vader never stands still to passively block strikes. With reflexes amplified by the Force, Vader can use the Force to create a barrier, or simply use telekinesis to bend the trajectory of the plasma stream, or worse, for the Predator, use the Force to crush the shoulder cannon from a distance. In terms of close quarters combat, if the Predator is forced to face Vader directly, the scales tip overwhelmingly in favor of the Sith Lord. The Predator has superior physical strength. If it lands a punch on Vader, his armor could be dented, and the biological body inside would suffer pain. However, the Predator carries a fatal weakness when facing a lightsaber. Its skin and muscles, though thick and durable, are still biological. Vader's lightsaber is hotter than the core of small stars. It can slice through the Predator's metal combi stick like butter and easily sever limbs or pierce the hunter's chest in a single stroke. The Predator has no armor whatsoever capable of withstanding the heat and cutting power of a lightsaber. Just one solid hit from Vader and the hunt is over. Furthermore, we must consider Vader's ultimate weapon, the Force. The Predator can turn invisible, can leap and dodge, can fire plasma, but it has absolutely no way to defend against long-range physical attacks that require no physical contact. Vader can simply raise his hand and use the Force to crush the Predator's windpipe from 50 meters away. The Predator would thrash and claw at the air but could not touch Vader. Or Vader could use the Force to lift the Predator into the air, stripping it of all terrain advantages and agility, and slam it into the ground with enough force to shatter ribs and internal organs. The Predator has no technology or biological ability to counter the manipulation of gravity and matter at the quantum level that the Force provides. The Predator hunts the strong in search of glory and feels exhilaration when facing dangerous opponents. However, Darth Vader is not just a dangerous opponent, he is the embodiment of primal fear. The aura of the dark side that Vader exudes has the ability to exert psychological pressure on all surrounding life form. Creatures sensitive to life and death, such as the Predator, will undoubtedly feel the coldness, hatred, and absolute darkness radiating from Vader. Finally, let's consider the scenario where the Predator uses its nuclear self-destruct device. This is the final gambit of a Yautja when it accepts defeat and wants to take its enemy with it. If the Predator activates the bomb, the thermonuclear explosion will level everything. However, once again, the Force is the deciding factor. Vader, with his precognitive ability, will sense the intention to trigger the bomb through the Force, sensing the shift in the flow of time and the Predator's will. Moreover, with his speed and object manipulation, Vader could use the Force to snap the Predator's wrist before it could even touch the activation button. The Predator is a great hunter, a perfect creature in the world of physics, biology, and mechanical technology. It has hunted the most terrifying monsters and always finds a way to adapt. But Darth Vader does not operate in the world of pure physics. Vader is a supernatural entity, one who can bend space, read thoughts, and manipulate matter with his will. The Predator's stealth becomes meaningless against the Force. Its muscular strength becomes insignificant against a lightsaber, and its technology is nothing but toys before a Sith Lord's ability to manipulate reality. The Predator may be the apex hunter of the jungle, but when facing Darth Vader, the hunter will soon realize a horrifying truth. It is not the hunter, it is the prey. Therefore, in my opinion, Darth Vader would win decisively. What do you all think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all very much.